What is happening, my friends? Welcome to yet another great episode of the Arrington Gavin Show. I am your friend, your host, Arrington Gavin, coming to you on another great evening. Look, this is the show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day. Whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or even the latest buzz, we're diving deep, keeping it real. So, do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. Look, on today's show, we got a lot to impact. Hopefully, we can get it done within this hour. As you know, every hour goes by so fast. We're gonna be speaking on some news happening in the world of Hollywood as well as politics. And also, yeah, it looks like it's just going to be Hollywood and politics, not really anything in the sports world that I'll be sharing today. But I hope you all are having a great evening. Once again, thank you so much for taking the time out your busy schedule to join the conversation, to tune in, to the Arrington Gavin Show. We are an unbiased, independent platform. We are growing each and every step of the way. Look, we just received some numbers recently from our friends over at WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk, which you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show Monday through Fridays at 11 p.m. We received some great uh, uh, news and on just on the the feedback they've been receiving from the listeners. So I just want to thank you out there who is in the metro Atlanta area that tuned into the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights. I truly appreciate it. Please continue to do so. Call in, and just continue to just give us our praise, man. I truly appreciate it. Share it with everybody. There's multiple ways you can listen in and tune into the program. Um, on radio is one way. Again, on WDJY 99.1 FM, as well as WDJYFM.com. Another way you can tune into the program is on via wherever you get your podcast, whether that's iHeart, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. Also, you can watch us via streaming platforms of YouTube and Rumble. So, uh, multiple ways. Again, our YouTube channel is R Smooth Club Media. Okay, R Smooth Club Media, or you can just type in the Arrington Gavin Show. It's a quicker way to find us from there. Our channel on Rumble is the Arrington Gavin Show. Also, you can keep in touch with us through social media, through our social media platforms on Instagram at the Arrington Gavin Show, on Substack, as well as X, that was as formerly known as Twitter, on X at the Arrington Gavin Show. So multiple ways you can tune into the program. And yeah, just continue to share. And we want to keep on growing this show. We got some always continue to spruce up, get more creative with our content. And we won't be able to do that without your help and your feedback. So please, there's multiple ways you can tune into the show, or hit us up by texting us at 757-955-0656. Again, that is 757-955-0656. You can also DM me through our Instagram page at the Arrington Gavin Show, or you can leave us a comment on our YouTube or Rumble. So there's multiple ways you can tune into the show from there. All righty, before we move forward, as always, I want to give praise to our to some of our supporters of the Arrington Gavin Show, like our friends over at Ingenious Gin. That is right, my friends, Ingenious Gin. It is a veteran-owned, Black-owned spirit that has a unique spin of the original gin. This rose gold complexion beverage, I'm telling you, it is so smooth. It's great on the rocks. It's great in a cocktail. It's great during just during celebrations. It is a great go-to drink, and it's the drink of thinkers. It is the gin of thinkers. Let me tell you something. Um, I'm a bourbon and whiskey guy. That is my preference. Is mostly brown, but there's only one gin that I partake in, and that is Ingenious Gin. So, my friends, if you're 21 and over, do me a favor, grab yourself a bottle at your local Spirit or ABC store. Or you can shop online at www.ingeniousgin.com. Again, that's www.ingeniousgin.com. Do me a favor, please drink responsibly. And you can also, if you're watching this right now, there's a 20% discount code I provided here on the screen. So, hey, if you're listening to us, you won't be able to get that code. But if you watch us, okay, I already gave you the ways you can watch our program. You can jot down that code right there. All right, my friends. Look, we're gonna take a commercial break. We're gonna come back, of course, with our fun fact of the day, and then we're gonna get it going with our topic. So, do me a favor, my friends. Don't go anywhere. You are listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. All right, my friends, welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm your host, friend Arrington Gavin. Be sure to, again, follow me on Instagram at the Arrington Gavin Show. I truly appreciate that. All right, guys, let's get it going with our fun fact of the day. Today's fun fact is, did you know that octopus have not one, not two, but three hearts? Did you guys know that? I didn't know that. Hell, I mean, I didn't even know they really had hearts. Honestly, they're so mushy and stuff. You like, okay, what are you made out of? Like, what is inside you? Like, that's just me. For those who are oceanographers and into the what's going on in our waters and things like that, and sea creatures, you're probably like saying, "Wow, this guy is really dumb." Hey, I have my moments, but I'm serious. I didn't know they had three hearts. I think that's pretty cool. Hey, I actually like octopus. Pretty tasty. Any octopus lovers out there? Squid? No. Well, I am. Again, quite delicious. I've had it in a salad before. I've had, calamari, all that other stuff. Like it's pretty darn good, my friends. Pretty darn good. Alrighty, so let's get it going with some of our topics. Starting off the show with some sad news. This happened pretty recent. Now, by the time you listen to this show, you might there should be some more follow-up news added to this case, but happening really just really recent, happening today, was uh the CEO of United Healthcare was shot and killed outside of a Manhattan hotel. Um, this right here, let me go ahead and bring this graphic for you all. The gentleman, his name was let's see. Do they give a name? Brian Brian Thompson. I apologize. Brian Thompson recently was killed killed in Midtown Manhattan on a Wednesday morning in an apparent targeted attack as he was about to attend the company's annual investor conference. A law enforcement official tells CNN the gunman remains on the loose, and as I mentioned, by the time you listen to this episode, there should be some more follows. Hopefully they find the killer by then. Says here that Mr. Thompson was walking toward the New York Hilton Hotel in Midtown Manhattan, dressed in a suit and tie, to attend the United Healthcare's annual investor conference being held in the ballroom. Now, the gunman, who investigators tell CNN was masked in the freezing temperatures, waited for about 10 minutes before Thompson's arrival before opening fire from 20 feet away, shooting multiple times, striking Mr. Thompson. Um, says here that details on the circumstances are not immediately clear, but investigators say it appears to be a targeted shooting. It obviously sounds like a target shooting. If the man was waiting literally for this gentleman, and then shooting multiple times, that's a bit that's I'm no pro at this, but hey, it is a bit suspicious. Um, Obviously, no arrests have been made, and the investigation is ongoing as NYPD continues to investigate this case. Um, this really has a lot of people shooken up. Questions. I do want to say, for those who, because I've seen it on social media, for those who make a joke out of this or is criticizing, oh, he works for the healthcare system, must be some corrupt going, like, y'all, I think, like, why do you always have to cut it to that level? Like, just a life was lost, innocent life was lost, and justice, we're hoping justice will be served. Again, this was this man had a family. All right. So please cut the crap on all those jokes. Um, let's see here. This is reported by the Verge.com. Says here that suspect in the United Healthcare shooting reportedly didn't use a city bike to escape. City bike owner Lyft had said it was ready to assist with the investigation into the shooting of Mr. Thompson recently. Says here that CNN is reporting that, according to an annual unnamed source in law enforcement, the person who shot and killed the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, outside the Hilton Hotel, fled on an e-bike, but not a city bike. As NYPD Chief of Detectives, Mr. Joe Kenny, previously said during a press conference. Mr. Thompson had been scheduled to appear at the company's investor meeting, which was canceled a few hours later. Kenny said it looked like the killer specifically targeted Mr. Thompson, and that at this point we do not know why. The CEO's wife had said that there had been some threats, and that's where the suspicious thing, comes into play, is why was he receiving threats? Now, when it comes to high powerful individuals, mainly I'll just say celebrities, right? Celebrities like, pop stars, actresses, people in the limelight, people have always seen on, our television screens. They're normally the ones that are receiving death threats. I mean, come on, we literally just came across one of the biggest elections of our time, where one of the candidates in Donald Trump, who will soon to be the 47th president, elected, he had been receiving death threat. Hell, he was shot in the ear. He was targeted, and then he had attempts on his life 3 times that at least been brought out to the public, 3 times. So again, you're like, well, who is Mr. Thompson? Who is this Brian Thompson? We know he's the CEO of United Healthcare, probably making a large sum of money, a company that's making a large sum of money. But when you think of healthcare, it's a touchy subject because the public eye is not too fond with healthcare companies when it comes to, hey, you don't provide, my healthcare provider now doesn't provide this amount of money for me to get physical therapy, doesn't what's the word I'm looking for, it doesn't support the medicine that I need now. And a lot of people can be under, this is still stressful times, and a lot of people can always raise a question like, why me, why me? And it's just, you just don't know what goes on in people's head. But this right here, my friends, is a very intense case. I mean, it's just broad daylight in one of the busiest cities in the world, and the gunman knew exactly who he wanted to go for. He knew exactly when he will probably be, free. And then, it turns out that his wife had said he had been receiving some threats. I mean, come on now. Um, it's just, it's really, it's a disgusting act. Let me see here. Just looking at some more. Mm, says here that another element in what law enforcement called the attacker's distinctive backpack, which many people believe is Peak Designs everyday backpack. Okay. Earlier this year, it says here that the United Healthcare suffered a massive ransomware attack which leaked info on over 100 million people and snarled healthcare for weeks despite a $22 million payout to the attackers. Wow. Wow. Death threats, paid ransoms. I mean, what who did they have, who are they working with is the question. Says here that Says here that NYPD shared images of the shooter, including one of them on the bike, and asked if anyone has any information to identify or location of the individual. Contact police at 1-800-577-TIPS. Okay, that number is 1-800-577-TIPS. To my knowledge, there is a cash reward that was put out there, I believe, for about 10 grand for any added information in regards to this case. That price, again, by the time you listen to this episode, it could go higher depending on the results and the status of the case. But again, man, it's unfortunate the world we live in. But what's your take? What's your take on this when it comes to a an incident like this where a a high powerful individual who works for a company that is really responsible for the lives of a lot of people. What's your thoughts? What's the first thoughts that go in your mind when you heard that the CEO of United Healthcare was killed in New York City? Please share your thoughts. Again, we can I mentioned our number. Text us at 757-955-0656. Again, you can text us at 757-955-0656. Truly appreciate that. Or you can DM us on Instagram. As I digress from this story, y'all, uh, we're gonna move it on to another story. So we've all witnessed um the Democratic Party suffer the worst loss ever in a long time. I'm talking about, the most recent election. They not only lost the presidential ticket, they lost the House and Senate. Most likely going to lose the Supreme Court. Um, being that the Democratic Party is, in my mind, in the rebuilding stages, because with the loss that they've suffered, with a lot of frustrated individuals, within the Democratic Party, people are, extremely frustrated with former president, yes, President Joe Biden, um, disappointed and upset uh, with leadership in the Democratic Party. You already see that they're going to be working on getting a new chair for the Democratic National Committee. Um, I've read so many stories, guys, where there are people who are, longtime Democrats that are either leaving the party, having strong feelings about leaving, or even, hey, as worse as just leaving the Democratic Party as a whole, going to the Republican Party. I mean, it's really bad right now. They're in a stage where they're not, the thing is, they're not answering a lot of questions. They're not answering a lot of questions. I'll go back. I've spoken about uh Joe Biden, him pardoning his son, Hunter Biden, and I'll get a little more into that later on. But right now, I'm just focusing on this the issue that a lot of long long standing and long running, not long running, but um a strong, strong Democratic members, uh they're tired of it. And I mean, I personally don't blame them. I recently was watching a clip of oh gosh, what's that show called? The View, which is a very strong liberal show. You have, well, here's what I don't like. I'm gonna tell you why I don't like The View. I don't like The View just as much as I don't like it's a show called The Five that's on Fox News. There is no such thing as fair conversation when you have four women that are all agreeing from the same side, and then you have one opposing person. Likewise, the five has four people that are in strong agreements with, as far as political views and just most viewpoints. Then you have one individual that's the opposite. To me, that's unfair. That's unfair. If you have five, if you have four, two liberals, two conservatives, or if you have, the five, have one, have two Democrats, one independent, and hold on, now I can't count. You have two Democrats, one independent, two uh two, say, conservatives, but those two conservatives are not always gonna, agree on the same time. Do something like that. Anyway, Charlemagne the God, who is the co-host on the hit radio show The Breakfast Club, as well as founder of the Black Effect podcast network, was talking with the table. Whoopi Goldberg, I believe Joy Behar is up there. Sunny Hostin, she's a former CNN commentator, political commentator. Um, Alyssa, I don't know her last name, but I know she's a former Trump. She worked on the Trump administration. She's a CNN commentator, political commentator, and oh lordy, lordy, lordy. I'm forgetting some other folks, but he was just explaining why doesn't that, people that are on the extreme sides of each party, Democrat, Republican, why don't they ever say, okay, when their party's wrong, say something about it. Do not always just be a ride or die and always back them up 110%. Because what he's saying is, and I think they were talking about the whole pardon thing, whatever. But I say all that, guys, to say that people are, and Charlemagne leans, he votes, I will say, mostly Democrat than Republican. I'm just assuming that because after hearing his viewpoints and when he speaks about politics on there. But the best way is, he agreed, is just being an independent, because both sides are full of it. They really are. I've spoken about it tons of time on this program. The Democratic Party will never admit to their wrongdoing. If you criticize them, oh, they're gonna be. I mean, it's just the end. It's the end of the world, just like with the Republican Party. They both are full of it, in my opinion. Right now, I commend folks who really have a true passion on serving the community. That can be people from the Republican Party or people from the Democratic Party. But I'll just be honest: a two-party system is very broken. There is no two-party system. There's about you being loyal to whoever's your fearless leader is. All right. But the Democratic Party is never going to continue to grow, especially after this lawsuit, not lawsuit, but this loss that they've received. And I the whole reason why I bring this up, guys, because recently, um, the Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan announced that he will be launching a campaign for the governor's take for running for governor for this state of Michigan, the state where you initially had two-term governor Gretchen Whitmer, who's a Democrat, leading. But here's an interesting thing: Mike Duggan, who is a Democrat, is running as an independent. Hmm? Now the question is, why run as independent? You already have you already have um the former leader being a Democrat, which is makes your chances good if you want to try and receive an endorsement, right? Your lieutenant governor is a Democrat. Um, but could this possibly be that if you even call yourself a Democrat in leadership, if you even try to run for office and you say you're a Democrat, your chances of winning might be really small, might be very small. They're not the winning party anymore. They are not the winning party. And I think majority of voters, majority of Americans, they are independents. They're either center right or center left. But guess what? They're center. So I just thought this was interesting. So this is a reporter. I'm going to read this article from the Detroit News. It says here that Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan launched a campaign for governor of Michigan recently, declaring he'll run as an independent and not seek the Democratic nomination in 2026. The decision by the mayor of Michigan's largest city means a key political figure is leaving the Democratic Party and shaking up the race for the state's top political job, potentially giving voters a well known third party option that they haven't had in the past. Duggan, who's 66 years old, a longtime Democrat, announced his gubernatorial bid with video that highlighted his decade long tenure of accomplishments as mayor, saying, "My approach didn't fit comfortably inside the dogma of either of the two political parties. The current system forces people to choose sides and not find solutions. I'm going to see if I can change that." In an interview, the mayor said he decided to run as independent a week after the November 5th presidential election, in which presidential excuse me Republican former President Donald Trump narrowly won the state over Democratic, I don't know about narrowly, but Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris. The results and conversations he had after it showed how many people felt felt like they didn't belong in either party. They've never belonged in either party. You know why? Because they've said that they don't belong in any party. People who said they belong in any party are you guys that are in office. You Democrats, you Republicans, you're the one that say people belong in here. How many times have I heard, "Oh, you're this, you're that. You seem like a very conservative guy. You see this, you that. You seem like a very progressive and liberal guy. You seem like don't tell me what you think I am. Don't put me in a party. All right. I'll put myself in whoever I vote for. All right." As I continue, the mayor said that my Democratic dues card came in the mail. I told my wife I'm not renewing this year. Duggan added, about a decision he said he made within the last month. We're building a city where everyone is valued. And I fought hard for civil rights, reproductive rights, and the rights for our LGBTQ community. But when calls mounted to defund the police, I angered some in my own party by giving Detroit officers police officers a well-deserved $10,000 raise and putting 300 more officers on the street. Kudos to him. Kudos to that mayor right there for not going just falling for the okey doke, not following in line what the party tells him to do. No, he followed with his true values and what will benefit his community in his city. Duggan said he will remain focused in 2025 on his duties as a mayor, but wants to start statewide conversations by traveling across the state to listen to Michigan residents' concerns. If he's successful in November 2026, Duggan will succeed two-term Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who can't run again because of her term limits. Says here that minutes after Duggan's campaign launch Wednesday, that Ford Motor Company issued a statement from the executive chairman, Bill Ford Jr., endorsing Duggan's independent bid to become Michigan's chief executive. Let's see. I think that was the only Duggan who took the reins. Okay, another one. Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist, State Senator Mallory Monroe of Royal Oak, and Genesee County Sheriff are widely viewed as potential candidates. Okay, for the Democratic nomination of for governor. Excuse me. So that's quite interesting. I'm familiar with the lieutenant governor. I've seen him speak many times. Very sharp guy. Um, he could, he's an African American male. I believe he was like the first African American male elected as lieutenant governor. I could be wrong, but I feel like I've heard that not too long ago. But um, that could be a strong chance for him to make history. So not really any high profile endorsements besides that first one. Says here Duggan serves as deputy county executive from 87 to 2001, a Wayne County prosecutor from 2001 to 2004, CEO of the Detroit Medical Center from 04 to 2013, and then he moved back to Detroit from Livonia to run for mayor. Gotcha. So quite a remarkable so it looks like this is going to be it'll be an interesting race. I will say it'll be an interesting race. He already has a high profile endorsement where he can receive a lot of money. Okay. Um yeah, sir, folks in that community, a political consultant recently said the decision is bold and smart and aggressive. Um I think it's very smart. Bold, no, but aggressive, yes, because of the timing. I think the timing is very, very sharp. I would like to have him on the show. I'm gonna try and contact his team to see if I can get him on the show because that'll be a great conversation I would love to have with him. Um, because this is the future, y'all. This is what I'm talking about. This is stuff that I enjoy seeing. People changing the narrative, and I feel like this is a transition. This is changing the narrative. It's a smart strategy because again, your luck on trying to uh uh you know win as a Democrat right now, it just is not looking good. I mean, I think that's happening all everywhere in our nation, especially of course red states, but blue states, purple states. It's difficult. It's really difficult in my opinion. Um, let's see here, guys. We're gonna take another commercial break. Don't go anywhere. You are listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. Welcome back. Welcome back. Next up on the program, actor Daniel Craig, 007. He was, I think, he's best known for playing James Bond in the. I think he played in about like four or five 007 movies. He played that damn role. By the way, I'm a huge 007 fan. He did a great job. Um, I always ask who's played the better James Bond. Who do you think played the better James Bond, by the way? I know the original was Sean Connery. Um I'm not too familiar of the guy that played after Sean Connery. The guy after Sean Connery, I think, did a couple of ones. At first there was one guy that played just one. He played James Bond just one time, and it was a flop. It was not that good. Then you had somebody Bronson. Damn, what is his name? Let's see. Oh man, what is his name? What is his name? What is that Joker's name? Um, Pierce Bronson. That's who it is. Pierce Bronson. Uh, he did a great job playing. I think he was the last James Bond before Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig. But anyway, yeah, Daniel Craig. He's been out recently. I think he has like I think he was has a new movie that's out, so he's doing uh uh a lot of press tour and stuff for his his new film is called Queer. Um that is a new film that he is promoting. So he was recently on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Very funny guy, huge fan. I wish I had it's funny. I was in this is you know side side note. Let me and then go back to it. But let me tell you a quick story. So my mom and I, we were visiting some family in New York, and I'm like, hey mom, we should try and go see we should try and see if one of the late night shows are filming. We should go see one of them. So I don't know if you've ever been to any live taping of a talk show, but the way it goes is most of the time the tickets are free. It's free admission, but they have these lines that you have to get there. In order to get there, they have like say like a line and a B line. So first come first serve. If you're there very early, your chances are getting in is very very high chances. If you're very late and you're far behind the line, your chances is slim to none. Um, we wanted to try and see. I think at the time we wanted to try to see like SNL show or one of the late night shows. We were in the line at Steve Colbert show. We were in line B. They just started calling people in. We were waiting. We were like, oh yeah, it was a chance. And then boom, we got right there. We were pretty close. They said, oh, you're gonna have to wait till next time. So for those that made it all the way to the A line, it's almost like somehow you reserved your spot to be in the line to be in the A line for the next show. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, Mom, we're not staying, we're not gonna be here by the time we will come back for the, for the show. So you want to try and catch a different one. She's like, yeah. So we missed out on Steve Colbert. You know who we end up seeing? Man, Harry Connick Jr. He's a famous like jazz singer. He was a former judge on American Idol. He's a talented guy. Don't get me wrong, and we did have a great time. But he at the time, I don't know if he still has it or not, but he had a talk show, a daytime talk show, I think just called Harry, and he had his live band. He interviewed celebrities. He had different stuff like that. Like it was cute. It was cute. So I think when we got there, we ended up seeing like Kevin James and another famous actress, but it was a good time. We ended up having a good time. Anyway, you're probably like saying, Arrington, where are you going with this? You always go off the rails. I do. So recently, Daniel Craig was talking with Steve Colbert, and he said, look, I've been here 6 times. You always pronounce my name wrong. You always pronounce my name wrong. So let me play you this soundbite, and we can talk on the other side about this struggle that Steve Colbert has by pronouncing Daniel Craig's name.
Say my name.
Daniel Craig.
Oh, now you're doing it right.
Why did I say Craig?
Yes. It's a diphthong. I don't say Colbert.
Daniel Craig.
There you go.
Did I not say Daniel Craig?
Daniel Craig. You don't hear the difference?
One more time, please.
Daniel Craig.
Is that right?
Daniel Craig.
Well, the first one sounded like... Say it. I'm sorry.
Daniel Craig.
That is...
Yes, Daniel Craig.
Ooh, I hear the difference. That is subtle. That is a subtle difference, and I apologize.
Do you? Okay, thank you.
I apologize. I don't want you, Daniel Craig, mad at me. Daniel Craig? Yeah. That guy, Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig, I'm so sorry.
Say my name.
First of all, it's an easy last name to mispronounce, especially to like for somebody that's so sharp like Daniel Craig is, because you would think he would be more lenient. It's like Daniel Craig. He's like, you always say Craig. It's Daniel Craig. Craig. Like, it's funny. I had a classmate of mine. First name was Craig. It was spelled, I think, just like the Daniel Craig's last name. But he say, hey Craig, like he always responded to it. So it's almost like a tomato kind of thing, right? Or like my wife swears, or not swears, but she always says that, she says meal the right way. I always tease her and I get a chuckle because I think she pronounces it wrong sometimes. She will say it like mill, like or a meal. I'll say it's a meal and she'll say mill, like almost like if it has an I in it. Mill. That's what I said, mill. And I said meal. So it's just like Daniel Craig's last name. He said Craig, and he's like Craig, not Craig. And he seemed really butthurt about it, didn't he? Like he was very salty about that. You obviously it's a not as a big of a deal the way I guess the public shows it, because there's multiple articles like, ooh, Craig calls out Stephen Colbert on his show, yada yada. Man, give me a break. These are grown ass men. They can care less about having a little hissy fit fight on name pronunciation. But really, it's a very difficult, especially a guy with an accent. Now, you can easily, Craig. That's difficult. That's difficult. But hey, I wouldn't get on 007's bad side. That man is a force to be reckoned with, okay? And a damn good actor. So just wanted to get you guys a good little chuckle out of that. We are gonna move it on. Let's see, we're looking with time. I think we're doing pretty good. I might not have time to speak on Pete Hegseth. So I'll hold that. I will hold that for the next show. Well, I don't know. Well, let me go ahead and bring this up. Well, I already brought his name up, so let me bring up Pete Hegseth. Let's see here. Let's be Pete. So right now it's looking like Pete Hegseth. Now that's another last name right there. Hegseth. It's looking like his chances on becoming Secretary of Defense is looking really, really slim. Like his chances might not be happening the way he wants it. Now, it started off as allegations that he received from a past sexual assault case, right? It was a lady that said she was sexually assaulted by Pete. Apparently there was a settlement that was done. You didn't hear about it. Obviously, his the network that he worked with at Fox News, because this is a Fox News host. He served in our military. He received awards from there. Let me actually, if I can find the he is a weekend host. I think he does Fox and Friends Weekend. That's where he hosts on. He does a lot of Fox Nation, their streaming services. He does a lot with their Fox Nation segment shows, the whole 9 yards. He's an author, former Army National Guard. He served, let's see, from 2003 to 2014. Then again, he went back for 2019 to 2021. His rank was a major. He's received the Bronze Star Medal, Army Commendation Medal twice, and then Combat Infantryman Badge. So again, accomplished man when it comes to military. Now the question is, can he run a huge organization as Secretary of Defense? That right there, again, chances looking really slim. Now he had recently been selected. He's always been a strong ally, a strong loyal one. I guess you could call a Trump loyalist of the former president. He Trump can do anything wrong, he will always be there to defend him. You can consider him maybe a new face in the Republican Party with the movement. I don't think it can stretch out. I think he was just great to stay with media, and that's his lane right there. Now, this allegation happened in 2017. Okay, 2017. Allegations of a police report and a non-disclosure agreement came in public recently when it announced that the intentions of him being nominated for U.S. Defense Secretary. So they're having all of these what's the word I'm looking for? Meetings and hearings, and it's not going to look pretty good. So recently, Pete Hegseth was on the Megyn Kelly show. Megyn Kelly, who is a former Fox News host, she now has a show on Sirius XM. Here's what they were discussing on her show, and then I think he's considered being like the next like Brett Kavanaugh, who Brett Kavanaugh is currently serves on our Supreme Court. So here's what he had to say when he was talking with Megyn Kelly.
Do you think you're being Kavanaugh'd right now?
I had a member not 45 minutes ago look me in the eye in private, just he and I, and say, that's what they're trying to do to you. That's what they're trying to do to you. That's their playbook. Get ready for more. And they're going to make it up, just like they have so far. All anonymous, all innuendo, all rumor, nothing sourced, no verification. And they're just going to keep doing it because you're a threat to them. You're a threat to their system. You're a threat to all the things in Washington, D.C., the swamp, the things that people have rejected. You're a threat to that. And so they're coming after you. And I know that. He knows that. And when you stand firm on that, it's not difficult to just continue to fight. So, yeah, we saw what happened. But guess what happened? Kavanaugh stood up and he fought and he won. And hopefully Republicans have learned that lesson.
And Trump stood by him.
And Trump stood by him.
Do you think you're being Kavanaugh'd right now?
Okay, so here's he's right. Kavanaugh won. He serves now on the Supreme Court. He's there for good. He's not leaving. He's already been selected. He's there for good. Was it fair? Absolutely not. Kavanaugh acted like a first-class a-hole during that hearing. His smart mouth and responses to questions being asked to him, to me, was uncalled for. And the boo-hoo crying is that, look, I know it sucked because they were bringing back a story or a issue that occurred when he was in college. Now, I'll be honest. Outside of college, like when you're already graduate from college, I can see it being a fair game to bring up these cases. Now, I think it's fair, bringing stuff up from college. At the end of the day, once you're 18, you're an adult, right? So they're probably looking at cases from when you were literally legally an adult to now. But at the time, Kavanaugh was probably in his mid to late 50s when he was, when he was selected. And so when you bring back stuff from college, it's like, okay, really, guys? Like, we do stupid crap in college. But here's the thing. You partying hard, getting drunk with friends, doing stupid, stunts like, from the show like Jackass, like that's one thing. But when you are involved in any kind of assault cases, whether if that's a personal attack towards an individual or sexual assault, like that's serious, especially when you're a person of the law, and especially when you are literally getting selected to serve on the highest position in the Supreme Court. Okay. When you are holding a position in the White House, it's important that they do strong background checks. That's just point blank. So for this guy to say, I'm being Kavanaugh because I'm looked upon as a threat. Now, see, he's saying it with so much confidence because he's thinking, hey, look, I already made a settlement. It was an NDA that was signed. Like, that person cannot say anything else anymore. That case is over with. Dunzo. Bye-bye. He thinks he's safe. Again, this happened in 2017. He was still on Fox News. He still has, he was 2017. He was serving in the military at that time. I don't think he was on Fox News at the time, but he's been like one of the, the most popular figures on that channel. And now this is even making him more popular on Fox News. His colleagues are supporting him, talking, are praising him and saying, hey, we're always going to be there for you. Basically, obviously, Megyn Kelly's giving him the platform on her show because she is also a Trump loyal, which she gets on my nerve, man. She's extremely smart, don't get me wrong. She's extremely talented. But again, the way she flip-flopped after the guy publicly insulted you and now you're all of a sudden kissing the ring too, stuff like that, just I don't care for that. I really don't. And you were, the whole like, I'm an independent now. I'm an independent. She's center right, very right, very right. There's people like that exist. But I also mentioned why Pete Hegseth, Chancellor, looking slim because they were even bringing up Ron DeSantis name possibly being a replacement for a Secretary of Defense, because he will be finishing his term as governor. Because I think he's already served a 2-term. His term limits are up as far as governor. So yeah, they're bringing up some other stuff where Pete Hegseth, this is reported by CBS News. He signed an NDA, received 6-figure severance pay after leaving veterans group. Sources say. Let me see what this says really quickly. I'm gonna look at what time. I got a few minutes. Maybe I actually got like less than 2 minutes. Non-disclosure organization concerned Veterans of America. The payment came amid allegations of financial mismanagement, repeat incidents of intoxication, and sexual propriety. Okay, so it all kind of ties into that case. So during that case, he had a high position serving with this organization, and yeah, he ended up receiving 6-figure severance pay in a non-disclosure agreement when he exited the organization during this issue. He's saying now that if he is selected, he will not drink at all anymore. I'm like, alrighty then. Says here that signing non-disclosure stuff. He stepped down as CEO in January of 26. 2 sources with the Concerned Veterans of America told CBS News, with one source saying the agreement including a financial payout. Public taxes filings reviewed by CBS News confirmed that Hegseth was paid more than $172,000 between October 2016 and September 2017. Okay. I mean, hey, it's interesting, but see, this is again, y'all. This is on brand when you have Donald Trump as your president, when you have the MAGA movement being so superior and so up there. The Republicans are really winning at this point. People are extremely unfiltered. All this strong publicity that Pete Hegseth is getting, it's you would think it is embarrassing to him, and it could be. Hey, he's a man with a wife and a lot of kids. It could be embarrassing, or it can be a boost in his career, because look, who else has been receiving allegations and saying, oh, they're trying to take down my career. Guess what? That guy is now going to be the next president. People love controversy. Pete Hegseth right now is full of controversy. Look, even if he doesn't get the opportunity to head back to Fox News, podcasting, Rumble, or another far right network or organization is going to contact him and give him a job. I guarantee it. Look, guys, I'm running out of time. Be sure to tune into the Arrington Gavin Show Monday through Fridays, weeknights at 11 p.m. on WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk. As well, you can tune in to us on all digital and streaming platforms, YouTube, Rumble, as well as podcasts, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, wherever you listen to your podcast. Follow us on at the Arrington Gavin Show on Instagram. Look, as always, I'll see you next time. Stay safe out there. Be blessed. I gotta go. I'm out.